Is this current WWE superstar set for AEW All In? But first, a current AEW champion has been arrested. Ahead of next weekend's AEW All In London show, news has just broke that current AEW World Tag Team Champion Cash Wheeler was arrested this Friday morning by the Orlando Police Department, with him charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm. Under Florida law, aggravated assault is an enhanced type of assault charge involving either the use of a deadly weapon or an intent to commit a felony. The penalties for aggravated assault are severe, and many such offences carry minimum mandatory prison sentences. In Florida, aggravated assault with a firearm is classified as a third-degree felony that is punishable by up to 5 years in prison and up to a $5,000 fine. PW Insider have noted that Wheeler has pled not guilty to the charge via his attorney, and they would also note that the incident would happen several weeks ago and is not something that took place overnight, and that a warrant for his arrest was actually filed on July 28, with the court record listing the incident as taking place the day prior. Another report from the outlet would reveal some details as to what led up to the arrest, and they would write, "At his arraignment this morning, the prosecution noted that the incident was believed to be a road rage incident, and during that incident, Wheeler allegedly flashed a gun at the other party." Wheeler's attorney stated that he did not know the other party. The word victims, as in plural, was used during the proceedings. Wheeler's bond was set for $2,500, and he was ordered to turn in any weapons he may own to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 12 hours of his release, pending the resolution of the criminal case against him. He was also ordered to not have any contact with the alleged victim or any witnesses. The news would first be reported by the Orlando Sentinel, who also noted that Wheeler was released from jail after posting a $2,500 bond. Whilst there are no specific details on the incident itself outside of the charges placed, All Elite Wrestling have released a statement to the Orlando Sentinel which reads, "AEW issued a statement to the Sentinel which reads, AEW has been made aware of the charge and we are closely monitoring the situation. Wheeler is fully cooperating with local authorities." Wheeler, 36, is currently scheduled to compete next weekend at AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium, with he and Dax Harwood booked to take on the Young Bucks to complete a trilogy of matches on the company's biggest ever show, although there are now doubts on if the match will be able to take place. With that said, the warrant was issued some weeks back, with the build for the match continuing despite this, although it's unknown how aware AEW was of the situation during that time. With that said, Fightful Select are reporting that AEW talent in the locker room were unaware of the situation until the news broke online. For now, we await more information on the charges, the incident itself, as well as his short-term future in wrestling. And next, who was under the Leatherface mask on AEW Dynamite? This past Wednesday night on AEW Dynamite, Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett would compete in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Death Match, which saw a cameo from the franchise's leading star, Leatherface, who ended up chasing Karen Jarrett away to the back with a chainsaw. We now have some backstage news coming out of the match, as according to the Wrestling Observer, AEW were paid $100,000 in sponsorship revenue for the integration, money which went to good use. AEW President Tony Khan has taken to Twitter to reveal that the company have donated all of the proceeds from the sponsorship to food banks that have been put into place following the Maui wildfires. Wholesome news that will perhaps make the match and cameo a bit more palatable. Regarding the Leatherface cameo, Fightful Select have since revealed the identity of the man underneath the mask, with them noting that it was in fact Dean Alexander that took on the role of the horror icon, somebody who was a regular on AEW Dark when that was a thing and has been appearing on AEW shows for the past 2.5 years. The spot was Alexander's first AEW appearance since the February 26 taping of Dark, where he would be on the losing side of a singles match with Peter Avalon. Regarding the integration itself, PW Insider have revealed that on top of the 6-figure payday received for the match, Warner Bros. Discovery were thrilled with the partnership and will be seeking out additional potential opportunities in that vein, so we can likely expect similar Warner properties to cross over onto AEW television in the future. And next, what would it take for this top talent to sign for AEW or WWE? Ever since his WWE release in the pandemic era, Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder, has established himself as a staple of the independent wrestling scene, with him raising his profile during stints in promotions such as GCW, NWA, and Impact Wrestling, making a ton of money through various innovative ways. Matt would speak with Wrestling Inc.'s Jeff Farmer this week, where he would discuss the potential to sign exclusively with one company, such as All Elite Wrestling or WWE. When discussing potential moves back to WWE or AEW, Cardona would note that it would take a lot of convincing to give up the freedom of being a freelancer, and said, "I would have a conversation with anybody who called me, but it would take the two C's, cash and creative. Of course, there's no promise with creative, but the intention would have to be there. I don't want to just be a guy on the roster. Been there, done that. It's great, and I get it if you're fine with that. If you have a family, you want that check coming in, you want security, I get it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I don't need that. Been there, done that. My dream wasn't just to be a pro wrestler, my dream was to be a wrestling superstar. Right now, I'm doing it on my own. But if AEW called, if Tony Khan called me right now and said, hey, we want you for All In Wembley, if it makes sense, of course I would go. If WWE called and said, hey, we want to bring you back, blah blah blah, if it makes sense, of course I would go. But until then, I don't need to go." Cardona would then note that since his WWE release, his goal hasn't been to get back to WWE or to go to AEW, but to make as much money as possible and have the most fun, something that would need to be considered were he to sign for either of the top two American promotions. Next up, some interesting names have been spotted backstage in AEW. Now let's go to another report coming from Fightful Select, who revealed that over the past couple of weeks, there's been some talent backstage that aren't on the current roster, sparking rumors that they could soon become All Elite. Let's start with former WWE superstar Lana, real name CJ Perry, who was spotted at this past Wednesday's taping of AEW Dynamite in Nashville, Tennessee. It was noted that CJ was accompanying her husband and current AEW star Miro at the show, this likely due to the couple being based not too far from the building, making it a convenient visit. Another former WWE female superstar that was at this show is Summer Rae, something she seemingly confirmed herself after posting a photo on Twitter with the caption, "Hi Nashville." As for a person who is less likely to join the roster, David Arquette, who is unfortunately a former WCW World Champion, was also in attendance for the Nashville tapings of Dynamite, more than likely just visiting friends at the show. And for our final name, we have to go back to last week's episode of Dynamite, where an absent former AEW champion was spotted. Jade Cargill, who hasn't been seen on AEW television since losing the AEW TBS Championship at Double or Nothing in May, was spotted at the show in Columbus, Ohio, with a report noting that she is currently taking planned time off from the company. Her presence seemingly confirms that past social media comments regarding leaving wrestling were simply to get heat and weren't to be taken seriously. And next, two top AEW stars have made a surprise appearance. Last night, Atlanta-based training school WWA4 would hold their latest show, where AEW's AR Fox would make an appearance, who is the head trainer of the school. Whilst in the ring, Fox would be distracted by Darby Allin, which allowed Sting to take him to the ground as he punished him with his baseball bat, this before Darby went to the top to wipe him out with a coffin drop. This would then lead to huge heel heat on the duo, who are currently locked in an ongoing war with AR Fox and his mogul affiliate teammate Swerve Strickland, with them receiving huge boos despite their babyface status on All Elite television. Swerve and Fox are set to team up against Sting and Darby next weekend at the AEW All In London pay-per-view, with the latter getting some revenge on the affiliates on Fox's home turf. Next up, a WWE superstar has targeted the Tokyo Dome. It was recently announced that former WWE Cruiserweight champion Enzo Amore, now known as Real One, is set to make his debut in New Japan Pro-Wrestling at the upcoming All-Star Junior Festival USA, with him listed for the event as a freelancer. On the show, he'll team up with Starboy Charlie and Jack Cartwheel to take on Ryusuke Taguchi, Rick Swann, and the DKC in six-man action, although he has his eye on an even bigger New Japan stage in the future. Speaking with Busted Open Radio this week, Real One would reveal that he has his eye on working a match at the Tokyo Dome, the venue for NJPW's biggest annual event, Wrestle Kingdom, and he would say, So I just want to thank Rocky Romero, thank Hiromu Takahashi, thank you for putting this event on, respecting and knowing that I'm the greatest cruiserweight champion, that's including every luchador. If I get an opportunity from Rocky Romero to go out there and do what I do, I guarantee you I end up over in Japan in the Tokyo Dome in front of 100,000 people and taking everything I deserve that should be mine. The next Wrestle Kingdom event will go down on January 4th, 2024, with Real One now seemingly looking to establish himself on the New Japan roster to find himself a spot on the card. And next we have an update on an upcoming major Bloodline related match. At SummerSlam, Jimmy Uso would interfere in the undisputed Universal title match between his brother Jay and his cousin Roman Reigns, costing his fellow Uso in the process, claiming he didn't want him to become corrupt with power, were he to become the tribal chief. Word then began to emerge that the plan was to build towards an eventual Jimmy versus Jay match somewhere down the line, something that appears to be in the plans, but not just yet. Taking to the Wrestling Observer newsletter today, Dave Meltzer would reveal that the match is in the works, although it won't take place at the next pay-per-view Payback, and he would write, Reigns will not be on Payback, and we do know that Jimmy vs Jay Uso is being held off for more build time and likely a bigger show. It seems that Jay Uso's recent decision to quit WWE is simply to delay the storyline a little longer, although the two brothers are set to eventually clash at one of WWE's big shows, perhaps at Survivor Series, with both Usos featuring on the poster for the event. Next up is this WWE legend set to challenge a current WWE champion. John Cena's most recent WWE match would take place at WrestleMania 39, where Austin Theory managed to defeat him in the opening contest to hold on to the United States Championship. Judging by a recent Instagram post from the 16-time world champion, he could be set to challenge for yet another of WWE's mid-card championships, this time the Intercontinental title, the only main WWE singles title that he hasn't held. Taking to Instagram this week, Cena would post an image of current IC champion Gunther without any context, a post that has led to the WWE fanbase to speculate that he could be his next target. Gunther is currently on the verge of breaking the all-time longest reign as Intercontinental Champion, held by the Honky Tonk Man, a record he will surpass in less than 1 month, just days after the upcoming Payback Premium Live event. Whether or not the post means Cena will be an upcoming challenger remains to be seen, but at the very least, he appears to be a fan of the Ring General, who has been on one hell of a run as of late. Next is this WWE Hall of Famer set for AEW All In. Earlier this week, we would cover a report from Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer, who revealed that Edge's trainer Ron Hutchinson had claimed that the Rated R superstar is set to work his final match. The match in question is set to go down tonight in Edge's hometown of Toronto, Canada, on the latest episode of SmackDown that will honor his 25th anniversary in WWE, with him set to battle fellow former WWE champion Sheamus in singles action. Well, Edge himself would address the rumors during an interview with ET Canada last night, where he revealed that tonight's bout is his last match on his current WWE contract, and he would note, "Here's what I can honestly say, and this isn't the answer everyone wants. I truly don't know. I really, with 100% truth, can say I don't know. That's strange for me, but I don't know. I really don't. I put some thought into it, but not a lot. This is my last match on my current contract. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I probably won't know until I get to the locker room that night and decompress. Let all the anxiety and tension that I never used to have before I performed, I have now. That's strange for me and makes it that much harder to do this. I'm going to be 50 in October. It's not easy anymore. Before, what I used to take for granted to be able to do, now there is a process and a fallout. There's a lot. It's the dream gig, but it's getting really hard." Whilst the end part of the quote does lean us towards Edge being closer to retirement rather than a jump to another company, there are some names in All Elite Wrestling that have fanned the flames of rumours of a potential jump to AEW, perhaps just in time for All In London at Wembley Stadium next weekend. Both Dax Harwood and Matt Hardy have posted photos of themselves with the Rated R superstar on social media over the past couple of days, with Harwood's post being of particular interest. When combining the potential clue with a recent interview from one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, we may have a sign of things to come. When asked by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful about the chances of a match between FTR and Edge and Christian, Dax would say, "You know, the Edge and Christian thing, I'll just say that's more of a possibility than people think." Given the recent news regarding Cash Wheeler, the possibility of a match involving FTR remains a mystery. However, the claim that it was a possibility prior to the charges means that Dax may be aware of something that we don't when it comes to Edge becoming all elite, although I guess only time will tell on this one. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 facts that MJF doesn't want you to know.